Greetings and welcome to Monster Legends, and another special feeding episode. This time we're going to be feeding a little guy who defines that it is not easy being green. Yes, picked this guy up in a recent race and got him ranked up once thanks to the efforts of my team. This, of course, is Prince Charmless, and unfortunately he wasn't able to charm a third open ruin slot. So, as I hear it, I'm going to be opening that one up when the opportunity presents itself. He basically, from what I understand, is a nature version of Voltic. Those are very big shoes. Let's see if he fills them. So let's find a place for him. Yeah, I do have spots open. There are available options these days. Okay, he's certainly fast, that's for sure. He's certainly fast. Okay, he's in there somewhere among the big guys. Alright, so this is somebody we're going to rename. Yeah, we're going to find a name for him. And before you suggested Kermit is already taken, I have a Kermit. So I'll have to come up with something else. Okay, he's got 2 traits. Okay, I've never seen that before. Alright, we'll go over that. Okay, so anyway, this is Prince Charmless. He is nature. He is, of course, a legendary. And, of course, you can see he's got a little star, so we can get him up to 105. He's got a pretty good power. A little light on the life, but not too bad. A little light on the life, but not too bad. And he's got an equally, if not better, speed. So he's got power, he's got speed, so that's not so bad. I mean, look at him. He's not that chunky. You can expect the life to be a little light. Okay, and as I said, he appears to have 2 traits. All right, here we have hardening, 20% chance of resisting those nasty effects. And, of course, we have immunity to poison. All right, I've never seen that before. That's kind of interesting. That certainly opens up options for the future, doesn't it? All right, let's take a look at some skills here. Okay, Happy in the Pond. Deals low physical damage to one enemy. And Cursed to be Blonde. Oh, yeah, he is blonde, isn't he? As I said, it's not easy being green. Alright, deals moderate nature damage to one enemy. And of course, that special skill, Great Swordsman, Best Singer. Okay, I have no idea. Deals insane special damage to all enemies, applies bleeding to all enemies. Okay, if he does that, he can say whatever he wants. It actually looks very similar to Voltic's big special, but of course this one adds bleeding, which is always a good thing. It's good for our enemies to bleed. This frog lived in the gardens of King Durian and Queen Luthien's castle. He grew up reading their books and emulating their manners. All he wanted was to become a prince. One day he convinced Bellabal to kiss him to realize his dream, but he didn't become a charming prince, but Prince Charmless. Okay, I'm guessing she wasn't overly happy about that. She can be a beast about things like that. Okay, so he's got a sordid backstory, but, I guess he means well, I suppose. Let's just feed him. All right, he's level 4, so let's get him up. I mean, he's level 1. Let's get him up to level 4, right? Okay, there he goes. He's got his rapier. He's got his hat off. He's very polite when he kills people. Very polite. Okay, except when he left. Dude, we're feeding you? Okay, good. All right, so let's get on with the skills. So let's continue. Let's start with Sweat Drip. Deals moderate nature damage to one enemy, 50% chance of applying poison. Okay, that's actually pretty good damage there too. Good damage, 0 cooldown, and poison. Well, 50% chance of poison, right? Not what we're looking for, though. Not what we're looking for. All right, let's continue to level 10. And another skill. To Start a Journey. Deals moderate special damage to one enemy, applies nature weakness to one. Oh, that's actually kind of interesting. Okay. So far, his skills are coming up interesting. All right, let's continue to level 15 and another skill. Rapier and Hat. Deals low nature damage to one enemy, gives extra turn to itself. Okay. Probably going to be keeping that. All right, so why don't we just throw that there? That's kind of what we're looking for, isn't it? All right, let's continue to level 20 and another skill. My Own Sweat. Why are all his skills about sweat? Deals very heavy nature damage to one enemy, applies poison to one enemy. Okay, that's a very good skill. That's a good one right there. Why don't we just put that one right there? Because there's no reason not to do that. All right, let's continue to level 25 and his final form. Entangled Cloak. Deals moderate nature damage to one enemy, gives one extra turn to itself. All right, so we're getting a little closer into the area of what we're looking for. See, the thing about it is, I'm not really sure where this is all going. I'm not going to lose that one. I'm going to put that one over here. See, the thing about it is, I don't know if this is actually going to be useful in the end. I'm sure we'll probably see it again, but I mean, I'm kind of looking for something here, right? I'm kind of looking for something. All right, let's continue to level 30 and more skills, hopefully. Save the Kingdom. Deals very heavy special damage to one enemy. Okay, that's actually an upgrade of the one we just saw. And it does a lot of damage. The question is, how much turning do we have? That's the question that I have. How much turning do we have? I'm going to throw that in the first spot for the moment. Okay, so far I have 2 skills, I believe, that do the extra turns. Hold it a minute. This one, was it this one here? Yeah, it was this one and this one. Okay, well, let's continue. And there, by the way, there he is, his final form. It doesn't look a lot different from his second form. I gotta say that. He's a little taller, I suppose. A little taller, but, you know, it's not a lot of difference there. Not a lot of difference, but I guess when you're a frog, right? Yeah, he learned that when Bella kissed him. Dude, you're still a frog. Just saying. All right, let's go to level 35 and another skill. Epic Quest. Deals moderate special damage to one enemy, applies nature weakness to one enemy, gives extra turn to itself. Yeah, I mean, I gotta go with that. That's expensive, though. It's expensive, but you know what? It does give the extra turns. So, I mean, obviously, I mean, look at it this way. This guy, he's gonna get stamina. That's the way it works. He's going to get stamina. He's got to get stamina. Basically, it's going to be the same configuration for me as Vaultic, which is going to be damage, speed, and stamina. So, okay. Well, I'm putting that there because, you know, even though this one does a lot more damage, you know, doing damage and then getting the extra turn means that he can take advantage of that nature weakness immediately, which actually makes him more deadly than Vaultic. We'll just have to see how the numbers match up in the end. All right, let's continue to level 40. Okay, Sweaty Blade. We're doing that again. Deals heavy nature damage to one enemy, applies poison to one enemy, gives one extra turn. All right, so basically see, I was kind of thinking, you know, I really like this one with the poison and such like that. But then again, it wouldn't give the extra turns. Well, guess what? We now have that. So he can do... Okay, first he can do this one. Start with this one, right? It's moderate, it's special damage, it doesn't really matter. Gives nature weakness, right? Then he can come back with this one, which is going to do heavy nature damage, right? Gives poison, and then gives him an extra turn, and then he can go to one of the other ones, you know? I guess it really depends upon what your pattern is going to be. But I do believe we now have something that gives an extra turn every round. It's just that he gives extra stuff too. He himself can give weakness to his own attacks, and he can actually poison as well. So that kind of makes him really kind of deadly, doesn't it? All right, well, this is going to be the last one here. I don't know. Are we going to get any upgrades from here? Or are they going to upgrade the other ones that don't give extra turns? I guess we're going to find out. Let's continue. I'd be happy with what I have right now, frankly. My own sweat. Okay, we just kind of got rid of that one. And let's get to level 50. I don't know if there's going to be anything new. Hat Throw. Deals very heavy nature damage to one enemy. Gives extra turn to itself. Well, obviously, we're going to work that in somewhere now, right? All right, we're not taking out the one that gives the poison. We're not taking out the one that gives the weakness. It's going to be one of these guys, right? Okay, low damage gives extra turn. Right, all right. Now, the one thing I would have to say here is it's something to keep in mind, is that even though he does do a lot of extra turning, some of these cooldowns are pretty large. So if he was to get his cooldowns reset, unlike Vaultic, he might have a problem. So it might behoove us to keep one of these hat and reset. Now, if he gets his cooldowns reset, He waits 1 round, then he can do this, right? Then he'll be able to do this one. Then he'll be able to do either this one or this one, so he gets rolling again. The thing about it is you throw this one in and he comes to a complete stop. It's a very good one to get. I mean, it's great damage. If he starts with everything fine, then yeah, absolutely, it's a great one to use. But I mean, that contingency is a problem. I mean, if I take out the 1 rounder or the 2 rounders, then he's not going to get going again if he runs into problems. And let me tell you something, cooldown resets are getting a lot more common now. I mean, you take this one out, you leave this one in, you put hat throw over here, right? Then that means that you'll be out for 2 turns if you get your cooldowns reset. But I mean, he's so much more damaging if he has this. And it's not really that big of a difference in stamina, too. You know, I'm gonna have to throw caution to the wind, not play it safe, and do this one. So I'm gonna take out rapier and hat, and I'm going to put. So basically, I'm going to depend on this one to get the circle going again, right? So I just can't let a very heavy nature damage hit go away when he can make his enemies weak to nature. It's just you can't let it go. You can't. All right, so I'm gonna put that in. Maybe I'll change my mind once I get to testing him. But I mean, I think that that's probably the right thing for me right now. I made him susceptible to a cooldown reset, but you know, it's an extra turn, you know? And how often is that going to happen? I just got to make sure he goes first, right? And we've seen that one. I'm pretty sure I have his finals back. Of course, the problem is I can't get that skill back because it was an early one I would have to spend to get it back. Yeah, I mean, that's good, but you know what? I like the extra turn. All right, so let's take a look at his final numbers here. Oh, no, I shouldn't say final numbers. Let's just take a look at his numbers here. It's 60, right? Okay, power is pretty good. His life is a little bit below normal there, a little bit below the medium there, right? His speed is actually pretty good. And yeah, he is actually very good. In matter of fact, it's hard in some ways not to see him as superior to Voltic, except for the cooldown issues. Voltic's, and he has that group attack one. It's really very, very useful. Static shocks. It's just so very useful because it does do ancillary damage to the other ones while he's killing. Yeah, I mean, that's really the big thing that Voltic has. All right, so let's take a look at the skills that I have here, the final ones that I picked. And he was very intelligently put together. I'll say that. Whoever was laying out these skills definitely was thinking when they did it. So we have this first one, and this is the first one. This is Epic Quest. Deals moderate special damage to one enemy, applies nature weakness to one enemy, gives extra turn to itself. All right, you gotta lead with this one. The reason you lead with this one is because this is special damage. You're not going to take a penalty. You're not going to take a bonus for it, right? Unless something else is going on. Somebody's weak to special or something like that. But this means you're still going to get this damage. What this is going to do, though, it's going to apply nature weakness for 3 turns, right? So that any nature attack is going to do more damage. The rest of his attacks are all nature. Wow, that's just deadly. And as I said, that was very well thought out. You might want to consider 2 staminas for this guy. I mean, really, that's what I'm thinking. I'm starting to take that seriously. I'm thinking I might just say, you know, speed, I'm just going to have my denial for whoever he's working with, just give him the opportunity to attack. You know, even if it's like a demise. Here, you, go, and then just kill everybody. As long as he's got a ton of stamina, he's going to do just that. All right, so let's look at the second skill. All right, so we have Hat Thrown. Okay, I stewed on this one for a while, right? Deals very heavy nature damage to one enemy, gives 1 extra turn to itself. Now, I didn't stew on this one because it was a problem. It's very good, especially considering your enemy is very likely to have nature weakness at this point, which means he's going to do a ton of damage. It's just the cooldowns were a little bit of a concern for me if there is an issue with that. I mean, it's really hard to just let this one go, especially considering you're giving weakness. Since you're giving weakness, it's just really hard to say no to this one. Okay, and next one we have, this is another twist there on a Voltic, is Sweaty Blade. Deals heavy nature damage to one enemy, applies poison to one enemy, gives extra turn to itself. So this one is not just going to do heavy damage. Of course, again, your enemy is probably weak to nature damage at this point. It's also going to apply poison, which is, of course, very, very useful. So, I mean, this has the little extra thing to that. Of course, once again, we have a 3-round cooldown. If the chain is going, it's not a problem, but if something happens to the chain, that's my concern. And finally, we have Entangled Cloak. Deals moderate nature damage to one enemy, gives extra turn to itself. So that's pretty much the most basic of them right there. In terms, compares with that one, but let's face it, very heavy nature damage is better than moderate nature damage. But of course, this one only has a 2-round cooldown. And this one is, if there is a problem and something happens to his cooldowns, this is his way of getting back to the loop, right? This is his way of getting, it's just going to take him 2 turns to do it as opposed to 3 turns. But substituting the other one wouldn't make any difference at that point because you would need the 1 and you'd need the 2. It does mean that he's going to be charging for 2 turns. So make sure nothing happens to him. That's the thing. Yeah, he is very good serious damaging skills. I can't wait to start testing with him. And of course, the extra little thing here of having 2 traits. That could be very interesting in the future with combinations in terms of what other creatures we're going to get in the future, right? Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm really starting to think, of course, it's not an issue for me right now because I have 2 locked ruin slots. I have 1 locked ruin slot, pardon me. I have 2 open. I'm starting to think maybe damage and 2 stamina. Because the thing about it is this guy could actually in some ways be more of a destroyer. He doesn't have the static shock equivalent that Voltic has, where he can do pretty good damage to 2 others if he hits 1. That's really very useful and has won a lot of fights for me. But he does have it so that he can utterly destroy 1 individual. Really utterly destroy 1 individual as long as the weakness takes. And the weakness, sometimes that can be a little hard to resist. But yeah, he can just totally destroy. Really totally destroy. As long as he's got the stamina to keep going. He does. So anyway, this is Prince Charmless. And he's kind of really awesome. I can't wait to start playing with him. Probably going to be some testing fairly soon. So anyway, thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate it. And play games, because games are fun. See ya.